I am Dr. O'Coin from Fossil Forward Finds, and today I'm going to talk about me.
Alrighty, so as my crochet little friend, voiced by my friend also named Chris, indicated, I am Dr. O'Coin and we are doing a video that no one asked for, but I thought might be interesting anyways, and that is who I am and how I got here. So I think it would shock absolutely everyone to discover that as a young boy I fell in love with dinosaurs, because that clearly never happens for anyone. I think I was around 4 when Jurassic Park first came out, and I don't honestly remember if I fell in love with Land Before Time first or Jurassic Park first. But in any case, my parents were probably rather wise, and they did not have me watch Jurassic Park in theaters. I had to wait till it came out on VHS, and watch it on my little 13-inch Emerson TV, which was probably, again, wise. I may have had a very different outcome if I had seen it in theaters at 4. But in any case, I fell in love with dinosaurs, and that was something that never went away. My dad used to take me fossil hunting out in western New York, even when we lived in Massachusetts, so that was like an 8-hour drive one way. We'd go out fossil hunting for marine fossils in the Devonian. And yeah, that it really dictated my whole path. I studied hard in science in middle school, high school, did science Olympiad, things like that. Sorry, wildlife in the backyard. And I did my undergrad at SUNY Oneonta in geology, as well as anthropology, and got my master's and eventually my PhD, hence the Dr. O'Coin, at the University of Cincinnati. And it was a great ride. I got to go all sorts of interesting places: Iceland, Peru, Nepal, Sweden, Germany, Estonia, Poland, others that I'm not thinking of at the moment. And all this was as part of my geology education and research. So, unfortunately, I haven't really been able to make it a career. There does tend to be a lot of us who come out of the program, and it's obviously not a job that has a lot of positions necessarily, at least in paleontology. I had places that said I was overqualified, and then other places that hired me that just I wasn't a good fit for as far as a geology perspective. So I decided to switch gears, and now obviously I'm doing ephemera. Still obviously studying time, studying history, just in a sort of different way. But that's not all I am. Now, it kind of goes hand in hand with my love of deep time, paleontology, geology, all that stuff. But obviously, I'm a huge sci-fi nerd. You've obviously seen my cats, Jadzia and Garak. Jadzia's namesake right there behind me. Big Star Trek nerd. I'm not sure how well you can see what's behind me, but there's Stargate back there, Babylon 5, Doctor Who, Star Wars is down there off screen. Um, Big sci-fi nerd. My eldest brother went to space camp as a kid. My dad was a huge Star Trek fan long before I ever heard of Star Trek. So it's definitely a family thing, and it's been it's been a huge part of my personality. The room that we're in now is the game room. It's a work in progress. You're seeing the nicer corner of it at the moment. It's eventually, it's going to be all space theme, sci-fi theme. Be able to play board games. Off screen over here is my N64. Video games, that sort of stuff. It'll be a fun space. Hopefully, I make it so it's not 100 degrees in here like it is right now. I don't really know what the point is, other than big space nerd. Since we were talking about the kitties, here's Miss Jadzia. She's Daddy's girl, yeah. Here's a good girl. Yeah, cats are a big part of my personality as well. Let's go find Garak. And here is Mr. Garak, being a good sleepy boy. Oh, did I disturb? I'm sorry. Alrighty, and then the other major component of my personality is my love of nature. I obviously have a very weedy garden behind me. You can see the sugar snap peas going up the vine here. If gardening is something you're interested, I do have the Fossil Forward Homestead channel, which shows me gardening badly on a regular basis. But yeah, ever since I was little, I've always loved being out in nature. I used to sit out with my film camera by the bird feeder, trying to film all the goldfinches, or not film, but photograph all the goldfinches and so forth. And when I was out on the geology trips, taking pictures of nature was always one of my favorite parts. And that continues as part of why I love this house. That they're not with me right now, but I usually have the deer back in the woods there. Got the meadow garden in progress back here. So, yeah. Dinosaurs, space, cats, nature. That sums me up pretty good. Now that gives you a little bit of context as to, some of my background, what my interests are, and sort of, why I am the way that I am. But from a business perspective, I actually started with print on demand. And if you're not familiar with that, is basically you make a design and the product itself is not made until someone purchases it, and then usually a third party partner does the production and sends the item. Now, I started on Redbubble. Redbubble was all the rage back in the late 20-teens, early 2020s. I had a number of shops. I mean, I say I have them still. I just don't update them as much as I used to. But I had the science shop. Stickers was always the really the big thing on Redbubble, but you had all sorts of product options. I had the garden shop as well. That was a garden / cat / game shop. It was a bit more broad. But eventually I switched over to, I added Etsy to the mix. Etsy having, a bit more of a sophisticated following. So there I got the science and pseudoscience cryptid shop. You see all sorts of things. I do a lot more in the apparel, but some home decor over on the Etsy pages. So that's the science one. I have the garden one as well. All sorts of different designs there. Hats usually are my best sellers, at least over on the design shop. But anyways, and then I have a much smaller gaming related shop that kind of neglect. I have started a fourth Etsy shop related to the reselling business, but that'll be a different video. We'll talk about that later. But anyways, at some point while doing this print on demand stuff, and I'm also on Amazon as well, I came across Primetime Treasure Hunter. He was doing an interview with Ryan Hogue, who is a print on demand individual, and that got me into reselling. And I bounced around a bit. I started with stuff that was around the house, things my parents were getting rid of. And eventually, somewhere along the line, I found ephemera. I think I initially started with photos, but then I really took a liking to postcards. I love the deep time history. Well, it's not deep time compared to the rest of the stuff I've studied, but I like the history of it all, the old messages and so forth. So that is basically in a very short segment my there to hear. But what I want to ask you is, if you have questions for me, please leave them in the comments below. At some point, I need to condense the postcard inventory behind me. I try to do that at least once a year, where I just go through and fill the boxes from back to front, open up space, because as you sell things, obviously you make space in boxes. But I thought it would be fun to do that while filming a video of answering some questions you have for me, now that you have a brief framework of who I am. So yeah, that's it for this rambling about me video. I hope you found it somewhat interesting. Again, leave questions down below if you have any, and never stop exploring.
Hello, and I am Dr. Coin, and today I'm gonna... Hey, over here. This is about me. This is my channel, Fossil Forward Finds.